We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc in theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
Hey, it's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 63 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about the new Spider-Man movie, Into the SpiderVerse, and then we're going to talk about what we watched this week, or WWWTW, and for some of us, it's going to be very similar. Yeah, it's going to be great. So welcome to the Christmas Eve episode of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast.
Where we're not talking anything Christmas related. Really
no, those of you who are tuning in hoping to see us wearing Santa hats in front of Christmas trees, first of all, thank you for being loyal listeners, or at least paying attention to when we release episodes. But we have to disappoint you because,
my Santa suit's in the shop.
We decided not to. In the shop. You have a tailor? Oh, look at Scott over here.
Only for my Santa suit.
Bet you he went and saw Into the SpiderVerse in 3D too, like some sort of high roller.
I did, but I was upset that it was worth the $17.
Was it?
Just because, I enjoyed it enough that I was okay with the $17 after. Before the movie started, I wasn't happy that I paid $17 to watch 13 commercials. But that's
how many they hit you with.
That's probably we all know I exaggerate. It was at least 10 to 15 minutes of commercials.
Which theater did you like? Which
I'm a
brand?
Cineplex guy.
You're okay. Yeah, I went to Landmark and
Landmark, that's my shit, son.
They well, first of all, it's awesome because it's close and cheap.
And no one goes
there. And it's all reserved seating all the time, so I always know where I'm gonna sit. Which is
spectacular.
Which is gonna come into play as part of my story for later, or whenever.
Wait, did you have a Wonder Woman scenario?
Oh no!
Just get into it now.
All right. Let's just do that. So
we're not talking about Spider-Verse yet. We're talking about what happened at the movie.
Let's go into the Craig-verse, the Coider-verse.
In my So in the morning on Sunday, I was like, I'm gonna go see this movie. I figured I might as well. I got time. I got nothing going on Sunday afternoon. So decided to go for 1 o'clock, kind of knowing that there would be children around, but not really knowing exactly what to expect. I bought tickets and there was like hardly any seats taken, but I just took the default. They usually put you like in the dead center of the theater by default. And then if those seats are taken, they kind of move you around. So I was like, whatever, there's 2 people sitting right beside us, but I'm a social person. I don't care. So I just bought those tickets. And then, so we show up, and the way it's laid out, there's like 4 kids, our 2 seats, and then 1 guy sitting by himself. And I was like, all right. They're not here alone. You must be with them. You're probably going to ask. However, I'm not going to ask you because I'm not assuming that you're with a group of children, because that's just weird. So I sat down. I sat down expecting him to be like, "Hey, do you guys like mind if we like if you guys shift down 1 seat and I'll take this seat?" And I'd be like, "Hell yeah, whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
You go ahead. I don't care." But what I think happened is that he was buying his seats and I was buying my seats at like the same time, and I jumped on him. He was like, "Oh, I needed that seat." So I got to sit next to 6-year-olds.
Oh god!
Which was just great. They know how to read.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so that was fun.
They proved
as
it
they
to you,
read everything.
Did they know how to shut up during movies?
So they knew how to shut up during the movie, but I was worried because they started off talking about everything the entire way through, like everything. Every single commercial that came on, they'd read it and then they would talk about it. Every single like little bit of pre-show with Tanner Z, it's like, oh god, kids. And then eventually they got bored. So then we're watching some stupid Toyota commercial and they're like, "I'm bored. Is the movie going to start?" And I was like, "Oh my god."
So you turned to them and you said, "Are you going to do this the whole time?"
So I didn't because obviously no. I'm me. I'm not
You're not Chip Mulaney.
Chip Mulaney. But
Or Scott, because I
or-
would.
or
Shut the fuck up, kids.
or Scott. Well, I knew. See, I bought a Sunday afternoon ticket. If I
Yeah,
didn't
no.
want to sit beside children, I would have bought a 7 o'clock or like a
Yeah.
9 o'clock showing.
No, I agree.
But I
when
bought
I go
a-
at 10 a.m. on a Sunday, it's my own fault.
Exactly. I bought a 1 o'clock in the afternoon Sunday ticket. Like
Yeah.
I'm for sure it was all kids basically,
Yeah,
which was
no.
fine because they were all really quiet. The ones
That's
beside me were like kind of singing along to the songs, but they were pretty quiet about it.
Well,
And
I
then-
do that too, so I can't hate on that.
And then they were like they'd say something every once in a while, like, "Oh, I recognize that character." It's like, "Yep, congratulations." I don't actually think you know what's happening.
It's a movie, buddy.
Yeah, about an established universe. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing special about that.
Or the newest character is like 10 years old.
Exactly. So that was fine. There were some kids in there that probably shouldn't have been. They were pretty scared.
Well, yeah, it gets a little dark a couple times.
It does, and it's like I don't know if all right, whatever. It's a family movie. Like I knew what I was getting into, but I was very glad, very happy with how quiet they were. So if their chaperones listening, weirdly. Good for you. Good for you. Your kids were very well behaved. It was just weird that you made me sit beside them. I mean, I could have moved, but
Yeah.
it was a game. It was a game of chicken, and I won.
Yeah, no, I respect that because I always get an assigned seat because I'll buy my ticket ahead of time, and if someone's ever in that, I'm always waiting for that day. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm waiting for that day because that will be a debate that person does not want to have with me because I will make them feel like so guilty about being stupid and sitting in my seat. Just no, don't do that.
Yeah. So that's my story. Nothing fantastic about it. It was just I thought it was kind of funny.
Oh man, I was hoping you're gonna give me your version of the Wonder Woman story.
No, it wasn't as. It was nowhere near that good. But I don't know, Scott. Did you like the movie?
I digress.
Really loved the movie actually. Like I thought it's my favorite Spider-Man movie.
I would have to agree, but we
Yeah.
did just do an episode where I talked about how I didn't like any of the Spider-Man movies, and like I really liked it, and I'm kind of divided on the style of the movie because I
loved the animation style.
absolutely loved every second of it,
And I only want to see animation like that. Yeah.
This is what I was thinking in the theater. I was like, I only want to see stuff like this from now on. Like this is it. But then I
Same.
was like, but if everybody does it, then it's not going to be as good.
I heard a thing that they're trying to copyright that art style actually. Like
It was so good.
that animation style. No, I agree. Like I'm always like very like hit or miss when it comes to animation styles with movies. Like I like the Incredible style, Batman animated series style. Like DC does usually a pretty good job, but like Marvel sometimes their animated stuff or Disney animated stuff, I'm like, I don't like this clay looking fakeness. I don't know. But this one, it was so like the combination of like comic book elements and like new types of animation is just so great.
Yeah, and the way that they could like separate things into frames and it was just it was
Yeah, it
so
looked like a
good.
comic book. Yeah,
That was which was the idea.
yeah,
obviously.
exactly. But it's like some movies have tried like to do it a little bit before, like not quite to the same extent. Like they'll do like the openings, like the opening credit scene. They'll try to like fashion in that sense. But this is the first one I think that's just like
All the way
actually like felt like, oh, I'm flipping through a comic book that's alive. Like every time I open a page, it's like this thing comes to life in this movie. And yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Like, and I'm not like we all know I don't go to animated movies very often, but
Yeah, no, it was
I would consider to
great.
see this one a second time just because it was so great. Like if there wasn't 3 other movies I have to go see in the next 2 weeks, I would see it a second time because I really did enjoy it. Like,
Yeah, the animation style looked pretty sweet in the in the trailer because I didn't see it, but I still would really like to see this movie like live action,
oh, it would
Like-
still
I
be great in live action.
don't
or even
think I would-
even as like a short like a mini series.
I don't think I'd like it as much if it was live action.
I see. So I'm with Craig because there's certain elements of it that wouldn't have worked in live action.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think,
but-
like half of the reason I enjoyed it wasn't even the story. It was more just the whole thing together.
Yeah, the way like the visuals came together with the story, like to help tell the story in a sense, and like different elements. Like there's, like anytime the Kingpin character showed up, like any of those scenes, I'm like, that couldn't be done in live action. Like we have seen a great Kingpin in live action, but this Kingpin is just that extra cartoony comic book level,
ridiculously large.
Yeah, just humongously large. And so like some of the elements with him, some of the elements along with the like how the how they get access into the Spider-Verse, right? Like those elements I don't think would have worked as well. It would have looked too like weird with real people, and like some of the like, yeah. So many things I'm listing. But yeah, no, it like, I think it's just really suited this. I think if anything, we should have live action people pop up in this animation style. I think would work better than trying to do a live action one of, if that makes sense. Kind of, what's it called? The rabbit one.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, it's like that kind of deal, but like it's in the Spider-Verse, and you bring like a live action person maybe into that for part of it a little bit, as opposed to trying to get it into the real world.
Okay.
But that's just because certain elements of this particular movie, I just thought it did a really great job of incorporating like the art style into how they were telling this particular story, though. So it's like you could still adapt a Spider-Verse into live action. I just don't think it would have worked for this particular story, if that makes sense.
That's fair, yeah.
No, I agree. I liked it as a whole.
Yeah, because they just had more freedom with it, with animation, because you can do anything, right? As long as you can draw it. Whereas
people can
CGI and
do
real people,
crazy twists.
Yeah. Well, and just being able to do stuff with characters, like dropping them between buildings and stuff like that, like just cool little effects, like because they're all, they all have Spider-Man powers, right? And they each use them in their own different way. With like Spider-Gwen is a trained ballet dancer, right? So you can see that in her style, and I just feel in like live action it wouldn't have translated as well, like how they each have their own unique way of using the spider abilities.
And if they tried to keep the same style but done it live action, it would have felt like watching I know the movie in my head and now I can't think of what it is.
Polar Express?
Is it? No, Scott Pilgrim?
Scott Pilgrim.
Man, that movie was amazing. Don't you dare hate on Scott Pilgrim.
It has a very
I get what you're saying.
It's got the comic book elements that kind of get tossed on top of it. So I feel like it would have looked like that. And I like Scott Pilgrim, but I would not have wanted to watch a Into the Spider-Verse movie like that. It would have turned me right off from the movie, because honestly what drew me in was the look of it when I saw the trailer the first time, and that's why I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to see that movie. Otherwise, no way.
Okay, here's my real question for you guys. How was John Mulaney in it?
He did very little.
Yeah, well, he's a third character,
exactly.
I would say. Like
but it was worth it.
Tertiary?
Yeah, still a good job.
I preferred the guy who played Peter Parker, who's from New Girl.
Nick, yeah.
Yes, his
old Peter
Parker. Who's that girl?
He was really well cast.
It's Jess.
Yeah, no, he did a great job, like with balancing
his voice is really well cast for it. Yeah,
no, I agree. I thought that he did a
great
job.
Well, he's a very cynical character, isn't it?
Old like our universe,
down, like,
Peter Parker is very cynical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Peter Parker from the universe it takes part in is not cynical. Because he's,
that's what I'm talking about, like the Nick version of
it's
Peter
the same.
Parker is very
it's the same
cynical,
voice
right?
actor twice.
Oh,
no, it's not.
Okay,
it's not.
No, so the one that was in ours is actually Chris Pine.
Okay.
That I learned after the movie when I watched a review for it.
No, you mean the other way around.
I'm not sure
the one who dies is Chris Pine, right?
Yeah. Spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't gonna say that, but here we are.
I haven't even seen it. Okay.
But that's more for our audience.
Yeah. I didn't know that you knew that, so I wasn't gonna drop it. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense to me. He doesn't talk for very long, and I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah. So that's where I was getting confused. Yeah. So he's Chris Pine. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The one.
Yes, that's what I mean. The one who comes through is.
Yeah, because the movie takes place in an alternate universe. Which was
Spider-Verse.
which was well done, because it doesn't really tell you that until they kind of introduce the older Peter Parker, and then you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it has been that long. It was 2000 when that first movie came out. He was already 16.
Yeah. So that part's good. Like
Yeah,
he was well cast. I think it'd be a hard movie to cast
Live
if
action
they were doing live action because you
that'd
wouldn't
be
have been
so
able to
weird.
get the same. You wouldn't be able to get the same
Well,
voice actors
how
who
old is he?
captured it. How old?
Like, how old is the older, like, Peter Parker?
He's like
40s, I believe he
yeah,
says.
he's old.
Okay, so we go with Colin Hanks. We talked about
I know
this.
we did, but it wouldn't be the same movie then because Colin Hanks is not the same as.
That's true. He's upbeat.
Exactly. So
I mean, he was kind of bummed out in Jumanji, but that's a different thing.
Yeah. It would not be the same movie. Is basically where we're landing on that.
I feel like Nicolas Cage though could have brought that like Spider-Man.
How
noir
dare you?
to life.
Don't you ever talk about bringing Spider-Man and Nick Cage into the same conversation?
Well, I have bad
Well,
news for you,
he's
buddy.
the voice of Spider-Man Noir.
Oh no!
Yeah,
You didn't know
he
that?
is.
He does a great
No.
job.
He's
It
actually
haven't
was
seen it.
fucking
really
awesome.
It's really
It's
good.
Nick Cage's best performance. I'll go on the record and say
Oh
that.
my God.
Probably because
He
we
says like
couldn't see
13 lines. Yeah.
him. Yeah.
But
And
it's
what's
just so
funny is
deadpan.
I knew it going in. Like I knew beforehand that it was him,
Yeah.
and then I forgot in the movie,
Yeah.
and the entire time I'm going, who the fuck is voicing this? Like it's bothering me. And then we get to the credits, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Nick Cage. How did I forget that?
No, that was one of the things I was like kind of like not excited for, but I was curious about because he had done the Teen Titans one. I hadn't seen that. Like he did Superman in the Teen Titans Go movie, but I thought he did a great job in this one. Like he was just that like I don't know if deadpan's the right word for it, but like just
He
kind of
was-
dry humor.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like he was just always kind of just like not quite in on the joke, but I just liked it. I thought it was a really good job. And you know, that Spider-Man's just in a trench coat, so I feel like Nick Cage could do that in real life.
That's true because you don't even have to see his face,
Exactly. He's got the
which
black
is
thing the whole time.
such a weird concept for a character. But what do I know?
There's a
the
whole
other-
story to that. Yeah.
yeah. I'm not worried about it. The other thing that I liked about it, which surprised me, was that the soundtrack was really well done.
It was great. I actually was listening to it today at work.
Yep.
Just 'cause it was so good.
It's outside of my usual choice for music, and I
definitely
have
would put it that.
I have
That's the exact way to describe this album. It's
Yep.
not in Craig's
it's
usual.
it's not a Craig thing, but I have
Yeah.
2 songs on my Spotify playlist because I just liked it that much.
Did you like the Post Malone one or?
No.
No, okay. I kind of like that one. The one he
that,
sang a couple
that
times.
That one was well, like it was well placed in the movie, but I wouldn't
Oh, yeah,
listen to
definitely.
it. I wouldn't listen to it again.
It's catchy to me because he was singing it. That's all. I have little flashbacks of the movie while I'm listening to it. But no,
so
yeah,
was the
they're
kid beside me.
good. Well, see, I didn't know the song before, so that's why I was.
See, that kid did for sure. I was like,
That
I
makes
would
sense.
hope.
Yeah.
I would hope he knew it. He wasn't just like
hey,
You're just
precog
guessing?
and just knew what was coming up.
you
Yeah.
never know. But yeah, no, I liked a handful of the songs from it, which was different for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Especially for like
Nice.
like something that's kind of a family film.
yeah,
Like it's not quite full family because I wouldn't bring like a 3-year-old or I don't know what the youngest kid you would bring to a movie would be, but like if those were actual 6-year-olds next to you, I would have been concerned for certain death elements in that movie.
they handled it just
Well, that's-
fine.
That's good then.
I
I
think
didn't
they
handle it as
understand
well
that
when
it's
I was young.
cartoon violence.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Not giving them enough credit. Anyways. What I had some other stuff written down. Animation style was good. Oh, I really like the story and the pacing. Like Craig, you had said like you kind of forgot like going into it about like who Nick Cage was in it, right?
Yep.
And for me, it was like getting into the movie. I forgot like how quickly it went by. Like it just was moving really like not too quickly that you couldn't keep up, but it just like there was.
That was kind of perfect.
Yeah, exactly. You're just going along with the story. It didn't feel like it ever like stopped. Like
Not
the moments
once
that
did I have to go, wait, who is this?
yeah, exactly. You're just moving with the story, and like when they don't have like when it's not an action scene, like those in between scenes where it's character like development were still well done. That I was like interested in these characters and learning about them, which isn't always something I care about. But this one, I was like, yeah, I want to know more about Miles Morales and how he's getting along with his dad. They just need to get their communication down, and it's the whole thing. It's very emotional. It's touching, so touching. It's a very heartwarming movie.
It is.
I think
Don't
Andrew,
cry, man.
you might cry. Andrew, I think you might cry.
Dude, am I a crier? Yeah, I'm a
I
crier.
think of the three of us, you're the most likely to get emotional from a movie. I would say.
It was
Probably.
it was a rough ride. We'll call it that.
Ooh, and I'm a Rough Riders fan, so I get on board with that.
We'll call it a rough ride. Remember when Remember when I was saying about the soundtrack? They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they use it really well.
Yeah.
And you just sit there with like, oh.
You're like, oh, no, not now.
No,
Not happening.
Not in the feels.
Yeah, it gets you
Right
in the feels. That's what, like.
Yeah, this is the only time I approve a Stan Lee cameo, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
was well
100%
done, too.
approve that one.
Yeah, that was a nicely done one, too.
Yeah.
It's very true to him, too.
Exactly.
He would sell you something with a no refund.
Was he a Spider-Man? Was he a Spider-Man?
He was
No,
not
he was
a
selling
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man merch.
Yeah.
And he had a sign behind them. It said, well, he was like,
no refunds.
one
ever.
size fits all to like the Spider-Man costume Miles buys, right? And then he when Miles like, what if it doesn't fit? He's like, oh, one size fits all. And then he points, and then he's like, but if not, he points to a sign that says no refunds.
Oh.
And that's your thing of Stan Lee. And it's just like, it's funny.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. You should watch it. And
Yeah.
I will definitely get to it, but I want to know what else you guys watch. Talk about stuff that I do know about.
talk about stuff you do know. Well, Scott, you wanna jump on that wagon real quick?
Yeah, I could start it off. What I watched this week was, besides Into the SpiderVerse, which we just talked about, I also watched the Elseworlds special for DC/CW. The DC TV shows had a 3-show crossover this time. Normally it's a little bit more, but it was just a 3-part this time. And yeah, I know Andrew watched at least just the first part, so we won't go too far.
I watched the Netflix Flash one.
Yeah, which I thought did a great job of just bringing the idea of the crossover together. Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to think which parts were in which episode so I don't spoil anything for Andrew. But yeah, no. Oh, that's what I wanted to put. So I think this is, I don't know. In the first episode, do we go to Kara's Earth? Do we go to Superhero's Earth? In the Flash episode?
Yes.
So you saw the Smallville farm?
Yep.
You heard the somebody
and they play the song.
Me. Yeah, best thing. I literally jumped off my couch being like, it's Smallville!
Okay, little TMI story. I had the TV show playing and I was like, ooh, I got to poop. So I went to the bathroom and you know how I roll. I got the cats and the dog and they push on the door and they annoy me.
Yeah.
So I left the door open. And I can hear it and I was like, what?
Yeah.
So I got power shit
when I saw it. I'm like,
and get back.
I paused it. I went and told my brother who didn't give a shit like normal. And I came back and I watched some more because I was just so psyched. I was like, they brought Smallville into it. Where's Tom Holland? Not Holland. Damn it, wrong one. Tom Welling. Damn it.
Damn it.
I was so excited I got his name wrong. But yeah, no, that was awesome. That's it's such a little stupid thing. That literally to 90%, well, not 90, to a good chunk of people would mean nothing. Like Craig would see the scene and probably not think twice about it. But to me, it was just
Craig wouldn't see the scene.
Craig wouldn't see the scene. That's fair. That's a better way to put it. Yeah. But it just, it was so great because it's just bringing back a location from a different DC show, right? And it's just, that's all you need to do to make us fanboys go crazy sometimes. So that was a great part of that. Yeah. I didn't watch too much else this week. I restarted watching A Series of Unfortunate Events because they released a trailer for the 3rd season and that drops.
Wow. Guess it's time to start watching season 2 then, eh?
Yeah, well, the 3rd season's last season. So
yeah, I should probably start watching season 2.
If you watch 2 episodes, or no, if you're only going to watch season 2, you got time before the 1st, which comes out on the 1st, before the 3rd season comes out. You just got to do one a day. I'm currently rewatching 1 episode a day. I'm just on the 6th episode right now. Or no, 7th one. I just finished the 6th episode. And yeah, lining it up just so that on the 1st of January, when the 3rd season comes out, I'm ready to start it. Because I've rewatched the first two. So yeah, I've been watching those. Also making YouTube videos for people who want to check out our YouTube channel.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Exactly. And then the only other thing I've been watching really is Nailed It and my other normal stuff. But yeah, Nailed It. I love Nailed It. I've talked about that a bunch of times. It's my kind of relaxing
Guilty
show that I
pleasure.
just like to put on and laugh at normal people trying to do things that I couldn't do, but I still laugh at them trying. It's just ridiculous and it makes me feel better. It's very relaxing for me. It's like people who like to go fishing. I hate fishing, but I don't mind watching somebody baking. That's the same as me. It makes no sense. Anyways, someone else talk about what they watched this week.
I guess I can go next. So this week, besides Into the SpiderVerse, I watched. Well, I'm still working on Fargo season 3. It's a long and drawn out process. The thing with Fargo, like the TV series, is that
It's gone too far.
by the time you get around to episode like 9, you already know what's going to happen because they start to like basically the formula for a Fargo season is something really bad happens to really nice people from Minnesota. They try to cover it up for like 6 episodes. By the 7th episode, you're like, oh shit, everything has gone way too far. The police are getting really close. And then episodes 9 and 10 are just the unraveling before everybody dies. So I'm at the unraveling before everybody dies.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
got the formula down, yeah.
Exactly. And one can only handle so much of the shame wizard before you're like, this guy needs a dentist. 'Cause
Yep.
his teeth are messed up.
Yep.
But it's awesome to listen to him talk. Yeah, so I'm working on that still. I got a couple episodes to go. I'm gonna finish it. It's gonna happen. But
Eventually.
I just gotta do it.
I'm curious if you'll finish it before I ever start it or not.
It's such a good show.
I've been meaning to. There's just so much stuff to watch.
I know, that's why I haven't.
It's
And I
too
added
much.
HBO to my like repertoire, which was both a great decision and a poor decision on my like time management wise.
Yep.
That's exactly why I haven't got to Series of Unfortunate Events, because originally it was like I'm waiting for someone else to catch up so that I can watch it, and then that stopped being a thing because they passed me. So now it's like
Now you gotta catch up.
and now I've actually got to watch it, and then I forgot that it was there until you mentioned it.
No, I had 2 for a little bit. Like the trailer is what reminded me to watch it.
Yeah, so there's that. I finished The Ranch. Part 6 was a strange roller coaster, lots of character change, and ends on a cliffhanger that I'm not happy about.
Does Rooster come back?
No, he's never going to come back because Danny Masterson got fired.
Dead. Yep. And
Yeah.
then he died.
Yeah, well, they imply that he died. I don't think Danny Masterson went to jail. He just got taken
No,
off the
they
show.
he just got ousted for stuff that we're not going to talk about.
Exactly.
Okay.
Be good people, make good
We've
movies.
already discussed that. So
Okay, I
he got
missed it.
he got written out. There was a whole like at the beginning of the part. It's like he's missing, or he left, and then it was he's missing, and then it was he died, and then they kind of left it at we don't really know if he died or not. So that's some good ambiguity. And then like halfway through the season, it's like he never existed anyway. They've just completely forgot. Everybody's moved on
Ugh.
with their lives because it's a soap opera / sitcom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a great show. It's really not.
But it sucks
But
you
I
in.
have
That's the
to
thing.
watch it.
Sucks you in.
I have to watch it. I don't like half the characters.
Colt
but I-
Bennett is just a whiny little fuck.
Exactly. And so, okay, spoilers. Because now I
I
got to
don't know.
talk about
I don't know who you're spoiling it for because I've never watched an episode. of this
Anybody
show
else
'cause
who
I
might
never
watch
Hit
it.
me.
will.
Hit
Anybody
me. I
else who
gots
might
to
watch
know.
it. So they
I
have
gots to
they
know.
have their kid whose name is Peyton.
Yep.
Obviously. Yep. I'm on
Obviously.
board. Peyton Manning.
Okay, I was about to
Obviously.
be like, is really?
Yeah, Peyton, because it was
'Cause it's in Denver.
It was gender neutral. It's based out of Colorado, and it was like a gender neutral name choice because they kind of decided on it before they knew what they
gender.
were having,
Yep.
and so they called her Peyton. So that's a thing for a bit. There's a lot of breastfeeding jokes for no reason whatsoever,
Sounds about right. Sounds like something Colt would do.
and then basically the entire season is just Colt and Abby, who they got married, and they're making major life decisions separately from each other, and then they discuss it after. And so, like, the entire thing would have been so easily fixed if they just sat down and talked about it. It's like Abby decides to take a job, and Colt's like, but we were going to do this. And then Colt decides to do this thing, and Abby's like, but we were going to do this. Why didn't you talk to me about this? And then eventually it devolves into them hiding stuff from each other. And the very end of the season, Abby's like, I think we should separate. It's like, you've been together for 6 months.
Yeah, literally, it has not been that long.
No.
Fuck. Okay, here's my big question.
I knew she was gonna say it too.
Well, no, I was like, I could see this coming up.
I
as soon
did
as you
because she's
mentioned the
talking
first
about,
problem in this sitcom.
She left because he like lied about how he'd sold the cows.
This sounds
or
like
something.
Rachel and Ross.
Yeah,
like,
it
sounds like
that.
season 2 when Rachel gets a new job and Ross is jealous and neither of them communicate and then they take a break.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what it is. Except
and then he sleeps with somebody.
There's a really emotional bit about how Abby's like, I don't know if I could trust you again. It's like, man, he just lied about one really small thing. I'm not trying to defend it, but I think you're blowing this ridiculously out of proportion.
Well, that's like on Supergirl, though,
I
where
have no idea.
she finds out Mon-El's from the future. She's like, he lied about who he was. I'm like, was it really a bad thing that he lied about it? Like,
Yeah, it wasn't about him lying about. He wasn't from the future at that point. Like, what she got mad at him at first was him lying about being from Daxon. Daxon? Whatever planet he's from, because that was like Krypton's like. I don't know what the word is.
Oh, I don't remember that part. Okay.
Yeah, so like Krypton looked down on the planet that Mon-El was from, and she was upset that he didn't tell her. Yeah.
But he was just trying to get laid, so is that a bad thing?
Which was not
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
Very bad. Very bad.
Yes.
Okay.
Colt was
Here's my
trying
question,
to-
though.
Yeah, go
about
ahead.
I gotta know, do they ever give like any backup like comedy role to anyone on the show? Like that was Rooster's thing.
Dax Shepard
Rooster was
replaces
just
him.
what?
Yeah. They're so quite
How do
honestly,
they know? Like,
quite
how does he
honestly,
fit into this?
He's their cousin. He's Bo's brother's kid that no one knew about. He just kind of shows up one day. He's got PTSD. It's a whole thing. So the only good thing that's come out of Dax Shepard being on the show, because he's a tool.
I don't like him.
I love the guy, but in this show in particular, I just can't stand him.
The only thing I ever really liked him in was in This Is Where I Leave, or not This Is Where I Leave, is in The Judge. I didn't like him in This Is Where I Leave You. In The Judge, where he plays kind of like a troubled lawyer who he doesn't know what he's doing. Like not troubled like he's going through shit, but troubled like he doesn't know how to do the job.
Yeah. So the best thing that they did with Dax Shepard was making a Dane Cook joke about him. Because he was like trying to tell a story, and then he's like, you know what, I can't tell a story. And they're like, no shit, you're not Dane Cook, and that was kind of funny. Yeah, that was about it. So
That's the highlight.
yeah, that was the.
It seems like they just grabbed someone who is semi-recognizable, who could probably do like some type of
Who would be willing to sign
southwestern
off.
accent and be like,
Yep.
"You're the new Rooster."
Congratulations, buddy. Yeah. So I'm not super psyched about the show anymore, but I finished it, and if they come out with another part, I'm gonna watch it because I have to.
Because you have to.
And
But-
you hate yourself. Yep.
Yes, I will. I will hate myself the entire way because there's so much about that show that just makes me want to hit things. Mostly the fact that Colt is terrible at existing.
Life.
Yeah. The only thing that he's got going for him is he's got some CFL t-shirts.
Yes.
So you're watching
Which
him
is-
like
That's not
he's
even a
wearing an
thing to go
Ottawa
for.
red black shirt.
Yeah, he wore one of those in an earlier season. I remember seeing it again, pumped.
Yeah,
But that's just like when I texted you and BBM'd you, or not BBM'd you, and Snapchatted you at the same time, where they're watching an Argos game
yeah,
on Life in Pieces.
just because they could put something on the TV.
Yeah.
It's
It
'cause
just
the
happened to
rights
be an
that
Argos
is
game.
cheaper
It's
to
so
put on
much
TV
cheaper.
than to put like an NFL or a college football game on.
Exactly.
It's like, oh yeah,
I
we
stand-
paid them
I
$10
stand
to
by
let
it.
us have the whole season.
And
It's
the
sent to us on
Americans looked at
DVD.
it and went, "What is this? Like arena football? Like I have no idea what's
Yeah.
going on." But those of
No,
us who
it's
know,
so
we were
much better.
like, "It's an Argos logo."
I was just thinking, what if he was actually just wearing like a green screen shirt and like
And
in
they
each
just
country
change
they
it?
edit to like that country's thing?
Well, the whole thing is that he played in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's
See,
a washed
That
up.
makes
like,
more
he,
sense.
He
Okay.
tried.
Well, we
he
play for
tried
like
to
the
make
Saskatchewan sheepdogs or some
it-
shit like
yeah,
that.
it's like the cold or something like that.
Yeah.
Some really dumb
Some made up-
stereotypical
yeah.
Canadian name.
Yeah, because they
The
make a joke
Mounties.
about how he got in trouble for pissing on an ice statue at a Shania Twain concert
Yeah.
or something like
They,
that. Like
they make a lot of those references about it.
and you're like, do you even know Saskatchewan?
Yeah.
See, it's like I don't mind the Canada jokes. I just like them to be clever. Like Ryan Reynolds
Yeah.
makes the best ones. Like when he does insult Canada, but then when he defends it,
But he's not even insulting it. He's just making references.
He's one of us. He's allowed to say that.
He's not even
Exactly.
he's not insulting it. He's making references that we'll get and be like, "Ha, that's really funny," and the Americans are like, "Ha, that's Canada." But we're like, no, that's
Yeah.
not how that works. It's way funnier than you think it
Yeah.
is.
It's so much funnier than you think it is. Yeah, so I like that version of it.
Yeah. So I watched The Ranch. I watched.
Man, we just talked about The
that
Ranch
a
for like
long-
6
we went on
minutes.
for a
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
long
like, I
time.
don't even know anything about the ranch.
Jesus.
It's got a really good theme song. We'll call it that.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And it has Sam Elliott in it, and that's just
Yeah.
that's worth watching the show.
And it's got Sam Elliott's mustache.
Exactly, and his voice.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be forgot to grow up.
Too late. They
Too late.
They make a
Too late.
they make a joke about like truck, like Sam Elliott makes a joke about truck commercials.
Oh, I love it.
That was
It's
so funny.
Doesn't he hate on like
He
in
hates on
earlier
the-
seasons? He hates on the truck that he's the, the
Yeah.
No,
spokesman for.
he's he drives Ford, and he's the Dodge guy or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But he just straight up shits on
all
it.
the
and you're
time,
like, haha.
constantly. But
It's funny. But
I can't remember if it's part 5 or part 6. Him and somebody else are making a joke about like, oh, it's the commercials during a football game, and they're like, oh, last thing I need to do is see a bunch of pickup truck commercials, and the one guy talking about how it's built so tough, and I was like, how? That's what you do.
it's funny because you
your
get paid
job.
for it. All they need is Dennis Leary to like be a cop in town or own like a hardware store or something, and then they just Jim job back and
Yeah,
forth. Like Dennis
yeah.
Leary drives a Dodge,
Exactly.
and then let him drive his Ford, and then just let them shit talk each other's trucks.
You know
'cause
what?
They're like, ha ha.
Netflix, listen to us. That should
If
be
you're not
part
going to listen
7.
to anything else, just give us that because it would be amazing. It would just for
Put that
30
in part
seconds.
7. I'll talk very well about your show.
I might have to start watching it for that. If I saw like a little clip.
No,
there,
honestly,
like,
the
this
ranch is
season.
well, the ranch is full of stupid little like fourth wall break jokes.
The ranch is simultaneously terrible and amazing.
It's clever when you pay attention.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's so
It's such a
dumb.
bad It's got a laugh track that's really bad.
It's so bad,
But then
but
there's
it's
something about
also
the show
well
that
written.
You're just like, all right, I got to keep watching it.
Yeah, and really, I feel like it's just meant to just get people just to watch stupid shit. Like, it's one of the few shows that are mind-numbing entertainment for the sake of mind-numbing entertainment.
Speaking of mind-numbing entertainment, I watched Russell Brand's comedy special.
why you
And
do that to yourself.
I went in not expecting to like it. And aside from the fact that he is a very preachy ranter,
That's why I don't
its
like him.
some of his bits were really funny. You
I don't
just
like-
have to throw out all of the really preachy ranting.
Okay, there's no way to say this politically correct.
Then don't
I
say it.
hate the way he talks. Like, it's not his accent, it's just the
Yeah,
way
yeah,
his
yeah.
voice is with his
the
accent.
inflection that he puts
Yeah.
on, like the way he talks.
Like-
no, I kind of see what you mean because it does
Like,
feel
even in-
it feels
even in-
fake to me. Like,
Yeah, even in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where I'm like, yeah, you're not the main guy in this. You're just some sleazeball. I'm like, shut the fuck up, man. Just shut up.
yeah, his voice is a little like, yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Because the way I was going to lean into that was like, I hate his accent, but I was like, I don't hate his accent. I hate his accent plus his voice.
I hate the
Yeah.
sound of his voice.
Like, it's
That's
just,
what you need
it
to
just,
say. I hate
every
the sound
time
of
he
his
opens
voice.
his mouth, I'm ugh.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's such a weird kind of like almost kid-like, but not
Yeah,
quite. Like it's very childlike almost.
He sounds like a character that would show up on Family Guy and Quagmire would be like, ew, no, get out of here.
Or like
And
a
that's what would
parody
happen.
of his own,
Yeah.
like of himself. Doesn't
Yeah,
he, like,
yeah, that's a good way to say it, yeah.
He does make reference to the fact that all he was cast in was thinly veiled versions of himself.
Well, it's because he can't do
kinda
anything
funny.
else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
I agree. I'm not trying to defend him. It was just
I didn't
it was
think you
in,
were.
it was
In
enjoyable.
Rock of Ages,
I just
in Rock
don't
of
like him.
Ages, we're like, "You're not fucking with me, are you, Dennis?" And I'm like, "It sounds like you're trying to do it sounds like you're trying to do an English accent." But he's not. He is.
He is
You know,
English.
you know what he sounds like? He sounds like Crystalia's impression of an English guy.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he does
that's
actually. Now
pretty
that
true.
you
That's a
mention
good way
it,
to put it, yeah.
Oh, literally, grouch your bathroom.
Wait, you gonna come over and do that for free?
Free? Come over here, get your lollipop in your mouth.
The bit's so good. So I watched that. I watched John Mulaney's New in Town.
New in town.
Again.
Did you watch that on Saturday?
I did watch it on like almost right after we got off the phone. like it was
Spectacular.
It was that. It was Russell Brand, and we watched a movie called The Switch with Jason Bateman and
Ryan Reynolds.
no, Jennifer Aniston.
Which one am I
and
thinking then?
Patrick
I'm thinking
Wilson.
the change up. I was thinking
Yeah.
the
The
change up.
change up, yeah.
I
No,
thought Switch,
no,
and I was
this
like, the
movie is
change-up.
not. This movie is not the same. If it had Ryan Reynolds in it, I probably would have enjoyed it a little more. It was
Fair.
it was still a pretty good movie because it's Jason Bateman and I really like him. But basically, the idea is that Jennifer Aniston is his friend, and she's like getting older, and her biological clock's kind of ticking really loudly. So she's like, "I'm just gonna get a sperm donor because I can't find a good man." And he's like, "Well, what about me?" And she's like, "No." So then she gets
Yeah, I can say no.
No, thank you.
so she gets a sperm donor, and it's Patrick Wilson, who I had no idea who it was until I was like, oh yeah, that's the guy from Fargo. So he was in Fargo, but that's not important. So he's the sperm donor.
So many things.
And there's like this, I know, but I don't recognize him from anything else. I saw the face and I was like, I know that guy.
Wait,
but then
who was it?
Yeah, Patrick Wilson.
Never mind. Keep going.
So they have like an insemination party. I can't remember what they called it, but that's what I'm gonna call it.
Yeah.
Where it's like everybody hangs out and then like the doctor's
And then
there,
someone
and her
fucking turkey based you?
and then her friends. That was one of the jokes.
Okay.
Yeah. Her best friend was like, "This is what we're gonna use to do it," and then Jason Bateman's like, "Really? That seems kind of crude." And she's like, "No, the doctor's got a thing." So, like,
I hope they've got a thing.
the whole plot device in this entire movie is the fact that for whatever reason, the semen sample is in the bathroom, just sitting there. Because why not? Jason Bateman is absolutely loaded out of his face because
That seems incredibly inappropriate for the doctor to just leave it lying around.
don't think the doctor
Shouldn't
did.
it be in some type
Is
of
this about
case
to
on
go where I
ice?
think it's going to?
So Jason Bateman is completely plastered because he is because his best friend's gonna have somebody else's kid.
Okay.
He
okay.
doesn't
Can I call timeout on this?
Oh my god.
Okay,
I
just
already know where
based
the
off the
story's going.
name, does he swaps the nut?
Yeah,
right?
he-
Like
he
he,
goes
No.
and jerks
What
off in the
happens
thing.
is what happens is
He switches
that
it?
would have been so much better. So he's so drunk he doesn't remember anything, and he's in the bathroom, and he's going to the bathroom, and then he gets up and he's like washing his hands, and he kind of looks over and he sees the sample and he's like looking at it, and then he's doing the drunk like a drunk thing where he's like got the tap running and he's like taking the sample close to the running water. He's like, whoa, wouldn't that be terrible if I just washed this away? And like a drunk idiot. And then somebody knocks on the door, and
he's like,
drops
"Ah!"
it, and he drops it into the sink.
Oh my god.
So then he's got to replace the sample. So he does, and then
Like the Family Guy sketch where Peter breaks them all and has to fill them all back up.
yes. So then she moves to Minnesota, and then comes back 10 years later with the kid, and
On
the
Fargo.
whole thing after that
Who
is
looks just like him.
and acts 100% like him, and everything that he's like, this is my kid, is completely learned behavior, but for whatever reason they're like, that's his kid.
That's
They're the same
genetics.
thing, and it's like, no, that's not how that works. But anyway,
No.
whatever.
Nurture.
There's
Come on, guys.
there's some things where you're like, yeah, okay. That can you can pick up on certain things just naturally, but you can't pick up on mannerisms.
No, exactly.
Where you talk, where you dress, where you act.
Yeah, that's not
Ugh.
genetics.
That sounds like an awful movie, man.
It was.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't that bad.
And I like Jason Bateman. I just
Well, that was the enjoyable part about it. The rest of it, whatever. But it wasn't that bad.
Was he your typical Jason Bateman?
Yeah, it was basically like Michael from Arrested Development, but in a different universe. It was the same. It was Jason Bateman except for Ozark, because that's a different Jason Bateman.
Yeah, I was about to say,
or the gift, because that's a different
excluding
Jason
Ozark, 'cause
Bateman.
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one either. He's mostly the same character a lot of the time too. He just has a more dynamic,
pretty much. He just has
character.
to.
It just fits into more
the beauty
shapes.
of Jason Bateman's character and everything is it fits into most roles.
Because he's an average everyday kind of guy. You can see him as your average everyday guy who just has shit luck.
Well,
or
he's just
no
like,
luck.
fuck me.
Just like zero luck in every movie. Just.
Yep.
And I always connect with that because I have zero luck.
Yeah. So the last
you
thing,
got us.
The last thing that I watched, finally got around to it. I watched The Dark Knight for the first time ever. And
Well, thanks for listening, guys.
And the whole reason we started the podcast is over. Craig's finally watched the Batman.
Yeah. So I was.
It only took 63 episodes.
I was all right with the movie. A lot of the special effects look very dated, which is a weird thing to say about a movie that didn't
Did
come out
you
that long
notice?
ago.
Did you
10
notice?
years
And
old.
this is the worst part of every Christopher Nolan movie for me. Did you notice that you could barely hear the dialogue, and yet the sound effects were off the fucking wall?
I did
I
not.
have that
Mine
problem
was
with a lot
really
of
well
movies.
balanced.
Oh, really?
some
See, for me,
reason. Maybe
it's
Netflix
not.
fixed it.
Maybe, because every version I've heard in theater, on DVD, on Blu-ray, it's all the same shit. It's all BAM! And you're like, ah!
I
See, I've
did
always
not
thought that
have
was
that
just
problem.
my hearing. Like,
No.
for some reason, I hear
No.
those noises louder than dialogue. I've just always assumed that because I have that problem with a lot of things. Like,
Yeah, well,
It's-
I'm
it's pretty
hard
common
of
in
hearing
some
myself, but no, it's you can't make out anything they're saying,
I watched
and then just
something not that long
fucking
ago where-
explosions.
I can't remember what movie it was. Yeah, I can't.
Was
I
it
can't.
Transformers?
No, I can't remember what movie it was. I didn't make it very far into it. I started and I was like, I can't hear a goddamn thing, and so I shut it off because it was like I could hear everything except
Honestly,
for the
like,
dialogue, and I was like, forget it.
These aren't even first world problems. These are like first adult problems.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
I was just
you're like, I paid for this. Fuck you. Nope.
turn the volume up and everything else is loud and I can't hear a goddamn word.
God-
yeah, I have that
And I'm
problem
not putting
so often.
subtitles on to watch an English movie.
Yeah.
I have not reached that yet.
No, I draw the line. I don't need to see what I can understand
should
when
be
I
able to hear
hear.
it. If this sound designer had any sense at all, I'd be able to hear what's being said. But no, so I didn't have that issue with The Dark Knight. I did find, like I said, the effects to be a little bit dated, especially anything to do with the Batmobile.
Yeah.
So, but my understanding is that they actually did that using physical.
That's a real
Yeah.
thing.
Like,
it's
it's
a
actually-
real
Yeah.
Batmobile.
Well, that
It's
was their goal, right?
it's
It was to
physical
make
props,
it real
so, like,
life.
Good for them.
Yeah.
And I've seen how they did a couple scenes where it was like mini models and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's good. Good for you guys. It takes you out of the movie because some of it's really good too. But I was really excited to see how the Joker was played. Not necessarily the character itself, but how it was done, since that's like something that's talked about constantly.
yeah.
And character really well done. Movie, but like just insane. It was like James Spader on frickin' crack.
Yep.
It was ridiculous. I can understand how he would have been terrifying to work with. Terrifying.
Yeah,
because
if
of
you
how
stated
into
See, I'm the opposite. I like the movie.
Well,
I
because-
don't like the Joker.
that was the thing with why am I not gonna be able to remember anything today?
Heath
The
Ledger.
thing with
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. That was the thing with Heath Ledger, is that he got so into that character. So I can imagine that he had some issues turning it off at some points. That's what at least what I'd heard, is that anytime he was in costume, he was on. So he would have been terrifying to work with.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've always kind of dismissed that a little
I
bit.
I dismiss most celebrity stories.
Yeah,
to be
I
honest
take it
with
as
you,
like a,
'cause it's just,
this was exaggerated because it's Hollywood kind of story. Does
like
that make
that's
sense?
not even just Hollywood. Like so many like athlete stories, musicians, like everything, and kind of like the icing on the cake for me recently was that Bohemian Rhapsody movie, where it was just we're gonna add stuff to the story to make it seem bigger. And then
yeah,
we just need to make it seem like there was some type of like hill to climb. When in reality, it was just, yeah, Queen's good. Let's make them big, and that was everyone's look at them. Yet they're like, oh no, we need to have some adversity, and I feel like they definitely do that with most actors, most storylines, most whatever is. There has to be something to make them seem like they're everyday, and then like they had to fight through an issue to make it bigger than maybe what it actually was.
That makes sense.
But
Still,
I just feel I feel like that way about everything. Athlete stories where they're like, oh yeah, no, I used to do this every day because I had a rough childhood. So in order to get big and strong, I used to flip the top card off a deck of cards and do that many push-ups, and then I'd go through the whole deck.
I see.
And that's
you
why I
also
wore the
read
number
that.
52. And I'm like, fuck you, man. Like there's like. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just start doing push-ups? Why would you no, it's such a bullshit story. No way.
I also read that this week.
Oh, I got so frustrated. Come on, Ray Lewis. Come on, son.
I read that and I was like, yeah, whatever. Like I don't care.
You know what's great? That story, like he's been saying that for ages because that's definitely in this football training book that I have on my bookshelf. That he is,
like
it is written out that he did that.
Yeah. I still call bullshit. Like, why wouldn't you just do push-ups? Why do you have to have a creative story? Go, oh, this is why it happened.
Yeah.
Sells more merch.
I wore the number 63 because I was 6'3", like 6 feet 3 inches tall. That's why I wore it. That's the new story from now on.
Okay, I'm on board.
And when I wore the number 56 when I was in the 10th grade because my dick was 5 to 6 inches long, somewhere in there, so I wore 56.
Same, man.
No, Craig's big dick.
Anyways, we don't talk about it on the podcast.
I'm glad you watched The Dark Knight, man.
Yeah,
me too. Like I said, I did enjoy it.
That's good.
Not, you know me, not really a big superhero movie fan. So
yeah, that's why.
Like
I was
unless it's got Thor in it, I don't really care. Because for some reason, I really like those movies. I have no idea why.
All the Thors are just Ragnarok.
I really liked Ragnarok, and I really liked the second one that I can't remember the name of. And
Dark World. We saw that together.
I seem to remember.
# double date.
I seem to remember liking the first one as well, but I really liked Ragnarok. So
yeah,
Ragnarok's awesome. It's probably my favorite, maybe.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite Marvel movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Andrew, what'd you watch this week?
Well, I for the first time in quite a while. I added shit to my list, new stuff, and didn't watch the usual.
So you didn't watch Family Guy
nope.
and...
nope. Or Life in Pieces.
What are we going to talk about?
That was the other
Or
one.
How I Met Your Mother. Like, I didn't watch any of the usual stuff. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Hey.
You talk nice about Train 48.
Don't you ever say negative shit about Train 48.
I didn't say anything negative. I said Train whatever. It's like, I don't remember the name right.
Na Train.
It's such a good theme song. Oh my god.
God bless Canada. Oh. Anyways, so I watched that Mowgli movie that they have on Netflix.
The Netflix one that I'm not going to watch.
It was meh. Like, it was as good as you can anticipate it. I didn't watch the Jungle Book movie because I don't. I said it last week. I don't like animated stuff that they bring to real life. Like, I don't need it. I don't want to watch it. So I never watched I never watched the Jungle Book remake. But then this one came up on my Netflix. I was sick. I just finished another show or another thing that I had just started and finished. So I was like, whatever. I'm probably going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
So I watched it and I was like, these animals look so fake. There is not one part of it that looks real. None of it.
Well,
like,
I think that's,
looking at the Indian version of wolves or wherever they take place in the world, like whatever country they're in, looking at those wolves, and I'm like, they don't look like wolves. They look like my dog with bigger eyes. Like, get the fuck out of here. You look like the bear. Like you look at Andy Serkis's character Baloo, and he's like, "Nyeh." And his jaw, like it looks like he got punched in the jaw at some point, and his lip just flipped over. Christian Bale's Bagheera he barely even looks like a cat, let alone like the Black Panther thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, fuck's going on? Or the Jaguar, I should say. I'm like, the fuck are you doing, man? And then you should get Shere Khan, who I didn't realize was voiced by what's his name, Doctor Strange.
Oh,
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Nailed
and he does a
that.
good job. He sounds just like Smaug, like the same voice.
Well,
But he's a tiger, but he looks like a fake fucking tiger. And I'm like, come on, like you had the Netflix budget. You could have tightened the shit up a little bit. Or just not made the
Netflix
movie.
budget isn't quite the, Disney budget.
But it did, like, everything looked so fake.
Yeah.
Like there was some cool shit in it, but then you get to a part where there's an elephant. Spoilers a little bit. An elephant who has a broken broken tusk, right? Because the hunter shot off the tusk and kept the tusk as his
That would
souvenir.
make him a poacher.
Yeah, but they call him the hunter. They call him the hunter.
But if he took something, then he's a poacher.
Yes. Well, his character is called the hunter.
I know. Just fucking.
But you wouldn't shoot off a tusk like that.
Well, no,
it
I
wouldn't
imagine
just
so.
shatter. Like that's not how it works.
I think a tusk would just like take a bullet. If I imagine.
It would break. Like it would hit it. It would chip off, and eventually he would break it off himself. It wouldn't just shoot off a fucking tusk.
Yeah, it would shatter like a piece of glass.
Yeah, well, he breaks, and then he gets like if you take a piece of wood and you kind of like twist it and snap it, how you get like the puzzle piece shards that fit back together, breaks off, and it's just sitting there in his room. So Mowgli steals it back, and then he barters with this elephant. He's like, "If I give it back to you, I'll show you where he is, but you have to help me kill the tiger." And that's exactly how he says it, just so everyone's aware.
He's yelling.
Yeah, and that's what he does, is he gives it back to the elephant. The elephant's cool, and just like pops it back into fucking place. Like this dead tusk is going to heal back on to the other half of a dead tusk.
Like if I cut off my toenail, I could just take my toenail and paste it back on.
Yep. No, not even paste. Just put it back on.
No, just place it back on.
Yeah, just put it back on. You're good.
Just pop it in where it came from.
Yeah.
Like Kate Blanchett is the voice.
We just solved male pattern baldness.
There we
Just
go.
take the hair you're losing and pop it back into the socket.
Put it back on.
Why'd this take so long?
Why hasn't anyone thought of this before?
That's what we're going to do. From now on, everyone who comes into my barbershop and is complaining about hair loss, I'm going to pull your hair out. I'm going to hit a hot towel, a nice soothing hot towel on your scalp. And I'm going to put each hair back in. And then I'm going to put a cold towel on you. It's going to tighten your pores back up. And then you're going to have hair again. You may get a couple hairs that aren't yours in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't you just start collecting hair from the people who have too much of it? Like it's on your floor already, and just start popping it back in again.
Fair.
Color match be damned.
Craig, next time you come over, I'll just snip a few extra pieces.
Yeah, just use my hair to help some guys out. I'll donate it.
That's it. You got that strong Dutch hairline
For now.
on 3/4 of your head.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
But
What did you
anyways,
watch?
Ka was a cool character. She was voiced by Kate Blanchett. Kate Blanchett?
Well,
Man, you're saying a bunch of
that's the
characters
only
who I don't
Blanchett
even
I
That
know.
was Hella, right?
I haven't
That was
seen
Hella,
Jungle
right?
since I was 5.
No, the actress. That's Hella, right?
Yes.
Is it Kate Blanchett?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with
she's
yeah,
she's
since
Ka.
I Google Kate Blanchett and it comes up Kate Blanchett Thor. Hey, she's the same age as my dad.
Yes, we talked about that on a previous episode.
Did we?
Probably
Yes,
Ocean's
it was
8.
it was
She
the
in
Ocean's 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah, and
sense.
Scott's got a crush on her. She plays
Yeah.
Ka, and that is a very intriguing character. But I don't really recommend the movie. It's good enough. If you want to watch it, go ahead. You won't feel like you lost a night, but you definitely won't have gained anything either.
I would feel that way. That's why I'm not going to
That's
watch
fair.
it.
That's fair. It wasn't anything spectacular.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard anything good about it so far. So
Yeah. Which is disappointing because Andy Serkis, like, I expected more from him.
Yeah,
as the guy who's mastered like the animatronic movement and shit, like
CGI.
yeah, that shit, like
Animatronics are so different.
yeah, like I
Animatronics are real
feel, I feel like he could do better. I feel like he should have done better.
That's fair.
And he did not. Next up, I watched The Flash Season 3 again.
Yep.
Because my girlfriend's hella into The Flash right now. I think she might be more into The Flash than I am, or than she is me. So that's concerning. But she's also very into Caitlin Snow, so that's pretty fucking sweet.
But also, again,
Bless you,
slightly
my child.
concerning.
Slightly concerning, but it's cool. You know, I'll let her leave me for Caitlin Snow. I wouldn't be mad about that
That's
one.
fair. That's a fair point.
That is a, but yeah, we watched that, and I got to watch her, and she is so good at figuring out like who's what in the show. Like halfway through, she's fucking solved it, and I'm like, God damn it!
I'm
still
wikiing it beforehand just to impress you.
Like it's working, but I'm also really bad at just like saying stuff like, oh yeah, there was talks like with the Draco Malfoy character.
Yeah.
On that season, she really liked him because she really likes Harry Potter, and it just slipped out. I was like, yeah, there was talks about bringing him back in another season, and then as I said, I was like, fuck. And then she's like, dude. And I was like, don't call me dude. You know I don't like it when girls use the word dude. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's like when guys are like, girl. I don't really like that either.
Okay, so, Matthew, calm down.
How dare you? He's a spectacular big mouth character.
Such a good character.
He's the best. Okay. Also, bye. But great. Anyway, she's really into The Flash. So we watched that, saw the finish. I told her to skip season 4, just go right for season 5.
Just don't
watch like the last 3 episodes of season 4, and then go right into season 5. Because I thoroughly did. Like, I hated season 4. Season 4 was my least favorite of any Arrowverse season.
Wow. Well, that's
season 4. Yeah, season
that's
4
harsh.
of The Flash. Yeah, season 4 of The Flash is my least favorite of any Arrow, and that includes season 1 of Supergirl. I didn't really like season 1 of Supergirl,
well, nothing happens in it.
but it's higher up on my list than season 4 of The Flash.
Well, we've already talked about that before, so we won't get into it again.
I don't like it. Season 5 I'm liking so far. I hate the fact that it's like meta technology, but
I like that twist.
I also like that it's not just like people they're trying to stop. Like it's it's just kind of like
that's why I like the twist.
Rogue everything.
Yeah.
But I just don't like. I fucking hate the fact that this shit's like coming to life because of on its own, and I'm like, that would affect the whole world. Like it would rain down all over the world. Like it wouldn't just come down just on Central City. Like get the fuck out of here. It would at the very least spread across the states.
Why would it do that?
You think it would just it wouldn't shatter somewhere up in this
okay, what
up
are
in
you
space and come down somewhere?
Like their satellite, right?
Yeah.
Well, they showed that thing only shattered once the Flash and what's her name punched it.
Some part of it would come off somewhere and go somewhere else.
Most of it would burn up.
Well, then we'd end up with
and they talk
dark
about
matter
how it ends
planet.
up most places around Central City. And again,
I want it somewhere else.
Books.
I want one thing to end up in another city somewhere. Just have Diggle pick up the phone and be like, oh, we got some of your technology, and just have a stupid crossover that way.
Well, it could still happen in the second half of the season. I doubt it.
Truth. 100% that's very true.
Not happening, but it's possible.
Well, they need to show they've already shown Diggle throwing up this season. Never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, he did that in the crossover, too.
Yeah. So, I watched that. I watched season 5 of Community at the shop today.
Nice.
Because it was busy and I just wanted to hear something good. Yep. So I put that on, and I started and finished a new Canadian series. I told Craig about this because I think you'll really like it, called Bad Blood.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it eventually.
Canadian television, not based out of, but takes place in Montreal.
Lost me.
It has Michelle Millette in it.
Yes, it does.
I have tons of time for.
It's got Kim Coates in it, who I have tons of time for. It's a great show about Montreal gangsters and how they ran the ports and the construction, and they ran. It was like Goodfellas. but in Canadian times.
French
In Montreal.
Canadians.
French Canadians. Well, not really. Like there's hardly like there's no French.
It is
There's
Montreal,
there's
so
one
both
there's
can
one
be English.
character. There's one character named Jacques who's French and everything else
They
is
all live in Montreal, right?
Yeah, but it's really
Yeah.
see the thing with Montreal is that it's very English.
It's in Quebec, right?
Yeah, but
French Canadians.
Yeah, but the same argument could be made
okay.
that Northern Ontario is French Ontario. Or like New Brunswick is filled to the tits with French.
I get
like
it. You
French
two are
speaking
trying to
people.
defend the French. You took a bunch of French classes. I don't give a shit. I'm part French.
I'm trying to
Fuck
defend
it.
the fact that they have like English accents the entire
Yeah.
not English accents, but they don't have
But-
a French Canadian accent the entire time.
Yeah.
It's because it is
Because they're Italians.
yeah. So,
And-
and it's real easy to find gigantic pockets of.
I was
of
just trying to
Anglophones.
hate on Quebecers.
Or Irish.
Yeah, well, guess
Yeah,
what,
yeah,
Scott?
so
We don't
we're
have
not
time
having
for
it.
that kind of thing. There's a reason
Well,
why
I
they
do.
tried to separate because of people like you.
Well, no, that's why I don't like them because they think they deserve to separate. It's like, well, no,
They did.
Go back
They're
to
useless.
France.
No, you.
Like,
France
you guys are
doesn't
so
want
upset about
them.
Canada being part of Canada. France is over there. Start
France
swimming.
doesn't want them. That's the thing.
Start swimming. Say,
If we don't
say
take
hi
them,
to
what's
the
gonna-
Titanic along the way?
Do you say start swimming?
Yeah.
How the fuck are they gonna get? They're gonna swim up through like the St. Lawrence and shit.
The St. Lawrence connects
It
to
flows
the ocean.
that way.
That's what I'm saying. Like they gotta swim through that. Like they're not directly there. They gotta fight the St. Lawrence.
There, they don't have to
get
fight
out
it.
there.
That's
It
their least
flows that
concern. They've got
direction.
an ocean after to get through.
They're gonna die before they get to the ocean.
The St. Lawrence
None of
flows
this is
in
my
that direction.
concern.
Come on, son. Anyways, Bad Blood is a spectacular fucking TV show.
never watch
Possibly one of the best shows I've watched in recent history. Kim Coates is amazing in it.
I don't know who that
Fucking
is.
watch it.
Oh, I never will.
Give it 2 episodes.
You already
I-
told
2
me what the whole
episodes.
thing's about. You guys do this with every show you recommend. You just tell me the whole thing, and then like, go watch it. I'm like,
I didn't
"You
tell
told
you
me."
anything.
It's about
I didn't talk
mobsters.
about. So? You don't know what the plot is?
They do mobster stuff.
No, they don't.
They're not mobsters.
That's the
then.
beauty of it.
It's Canadian
They're gangsters. They do shit and then they apologize for it.
Because it's Canadian.
And then they go eat beaver tails,
That are stuffed in turkeys. That are covered in Kraft dinner.
which are stuffed
That's
inside of a
stuffed
moose.
Inside of a moose.
That's inside an igloo.
That was never brought up by the hipster chef.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
dare
you're trying
you?
to hate on the hipster chef now?
I don't know
With
who
his-
his chef is.
It was a bit on
Hash-
it was a bit on 22
hashtag.
minutes last. It was a bit on 22 minutes last week. Maddie Matheson. I don't know. Do you know who Maddie Matheson is?
No.
He's
a chef.
He's a chef. He's from Niagara actually. But yeah, he's a chef. He does like he's full covered in tattoos, swears while he cooks. It's fantastic. Like it
Makes a
it
lot
is-
of funny ass jokes.
It is high quality cooking. Like seriously,
hopped up on meth
seriously,
while he
Scott,
cooks.
this is outside of our realm of recommendations. Just type Maddie Matheson into YouTube and watch any of his Munchies how-to videos because they are hilarious. Especially when he's like, we're just gonna use a little bit of butter and then cuts off half a pound and tosses it in the frying pan. Like it's just, and he's actually like he's a really good cook. That's the
Add butter for taste.
That's the craziest part is that he's like a really good chef. And when he talks about stuff, he's super serious about it. And he's into like all the aromas and the flavors. And then he'll just be swearing about stuff, drop something on the floor. Like it's high quality It's high quality YouTube is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did a bit with Maddie Matheson on 22 minutes with the hipster chef where he made
And Maddie Matheson's the sane one.
I know. That's because Mark Critch is just
He's like, I
nuts
make
and-
my turkey.
He's just nuts and joy. He's like, I just got a plain turkey. And then they did the whole KD dust rub.
Yeah.
That
Yep,
was,
the Canadian turducken.
it was
But
good.
the only other thing I watched this week, and I'm interested to see if you saw it, Scott, is the new Hellboy trailer dropped.
I just watched that this afternoon. It was
What
supposed
is
to come
your
out
opinion of
tomorrow. It got leaked this morning, so they
Yeah.
dropped the official one. Yeah, I did
Yeah.
trailer action. It looked pretty good. I like the humor kind of that he's
See-
he's not too serious. He's not like this like "Urgh." He's just kind of like, hey, I'm on your side.
Yeah, we talked about it recently. I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, and how I was fucking jazzed for it. Mm-hmm. It kind of lost my steam, man. Like it just, I think, and I hope they tighten it up and like in post and before they release it. But it just
You mean the 2 minutes you've seen of it?
Yeah, like I hope they tighten it up
Tighten
like
it
while
up.
they work
Did
on
you
it before
see
the
2
movie
minutes?
drops. No, not the story, just him, just the way he looks.
You want them to change how he looks
Yes,
in
like
4 months.
Yeah. No, just like make it like add some shit to him. Make it sparkle a little bit or something. Just like looking at him, I compare him in my mind to the Ron Perlman Hellboy, and Ron Perlman Hellboy to me was fucking bang on, perfect. And then I saw the pictures before they released the trailer, like months ago. They released like their pre-shot photos, and he looked 10 times better than Ron Perlman ever did as Hellboy. And I was like, you know what? Fuck Ron Perlman. This is my Hellboy. And then I see this trailer, and I'm like, I take it back. Give me it back. Yeah.
Why can't they both be Hellboy? We've got 14 Batman.
No, they can both be Hellboy. I just want him to look better. I don't like the way he looks.
In the 2 minutes you saw.
Yeah, in the 2 minutes I saw, he didn't look like Hellboy.
Okay.
So this better be a good movie. I plan on seeing it twice. Anyways, that's what I watched this week. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I gotta go hit something because I'm gonna hit Scott soon.
Merry Christmas or whatever.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year. That kind of thing.
Mainly the whatever, guys.
Yeah, mainly the whatever.
Yeah, or whatever. Just, do your thing. Listen to us. It's fine.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Bye.